Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Bigagar Ahmed, and welcome to today's video. Today, we're going to be going ahead and talking about some drama that is going on in the Muslim YouTube scene. This is between Jake Brancatella, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, and the Muslim skeptic who goes by the name of Daniel. Now, these two individuals are going back and forth at each other, arguing about whatever the case may be. But I went ahead and clicked on Jake's video to see what he had to say about Daniel. Now, he starts off the video by saying, I hate all Shia and I hate Iran. What that has to do with Daniel in specific, we're going to figure out. But usually when you have a beef with some other individual, you don't go straight into attacking 300 million Muslims and then denouncing them as Muslims and saying that they're your enemy, especially the ones who are protecting Palestine and fighting for the Palestinian cause. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and react to what he has to say and see what happens. Now, for all people who go ahead and say that I'm causing fitna, I'm not the one fighting. They're the ones fighting. They're the ones who are arguing about if 300 million Shias are Muslims or not. He's the one saying he hates all Shias. He's the one saying he hates Iran. Daniel's the one saying we should, maybe talk to Shias, even though I don't agree with them, even though I don't think that their stance on religion is the true way of Islam. Maybe we should unite with them because they're fighting Israel, who is our enemy, instead of sitting back and watching Shia Muslims defend Sunni Muslims. Maybe the 1.8 billion Sunni Muslims should stand up and do something, unite with those 300 million Shia and take out the issue that's happening in the Middle East, but they won't. Why? Because of the Wahhabi and Salafi regime that has taken over the Middle East, because of Saudi Arabia and the Gulf countries and how they're ran by Wahhabi regimes and how they created Al-Qaeda and how they created ISIS and how they created the Taliban, who are all Wahhabi thinking, back-funded extremists by the United States, by the Western world, by Saudi Arabia. These are the people you identify with here, Jake. These are the people you make YouTube videos with, Jake. Yes, Sheikh Uthman. Yes, Muhammad Hijab. Yes, the Muslim Lantern. Yes, all of these UK Muslims, these Wahhabis are Wahhabi, bro. And they have a Saudi Arabian regime idea when it comes to Islam. They think of Islam through a regime. They do not think of Islam through the actual sunnah of the Prophet. I know you think that because you're a revert and all you did was hang out with them for 4 years or whatever the case may be. But just because you hung out with the top YouTubers who are Muslim doesn't mean that they know what they're talking about. It doesn't mean that you know what you're talking about. Because your ego went over your head, you can just talk about the Shia however you want because Muhammad Hijab and Muslim Lantern and Sheikh Uthman told you those Shias are bad news. They smack themselves and worship imams. For 27 years, I'm Shia, I'm a Sayyid. I come from the family of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. I come from the family of Ahl al-Bayt. You're sitting here and telling me I worship imams? You're funny, bro. I've never worshipped Imam in my life. Imam means teacher. Why would I worship a teacher? A teacher's less than a prophet. A prophet's less than God. If I don't worship a prophet, what makes you think that I worship imams, let alone put them next to God and commit shirk? You're wild. It's because you're ignorant, and the Wahhabi regime tells you all those Shias, they smack theirself and they worship imams and they read a different Quran. We don't read a different Quran. Have you ever seen a different Quran? I've never seen a different Quran in my life. As a Shia, I read a Quran. Even the translated Quran I have, it's translated by a Sunni. Why? Because his linguistics are good. I can care less if you're Sunni or Shia. It blows my mind to hear the propaganda and the hypocrisy and the lies that is spread about the Shia people to the Sunni people. It's kind of like how the Western world was fed all that propaganda about Muslims in general. Muslims are terrorists and Muslims are dirty and Muslims are this and Muslims are that. And they oppress women and Islam oppresses women. And that's all the Western world was told. So people who are ignorant, who don't know anything about Islam, they just believe like Muslims are oppressed and they blow each other up and they're terrorists. And that's what they think in their head. It's the same thing with the Sunni population. They get told like Shia smack themselves and they worship imams and they have a different Quran and they're not Muslim. And they just believe it because they're ignorant and they don't have enough merit and they don't have enough knowledge to go ahead and pick up their own Quran, to pick up their own Sunni hadith books and read and even understand why they're Sunni. Most Sunnis don't understand why they're Sunni. Most Shias don't understand why they're Shia. Most Christians don't understand why they're Christian because they've never opened their Bible. They've never opened their Quran. They've never opened their hadith books. They don't even know why they are what they are. They're just born that way, told that by their parents and their community, and they run around their whole entire life going, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right. My ego's bigger than yours. And this is exactly what's happening with Jake here. He is a revert into Islam. He hung out with a bunch of Wahhabis, and now he thinks he can just throw this Wahhabi ideology on everyone because they have 100,000 to 1 million subscribers each. This is complete garbage, and we're going to go ahead and have to respond to this. Now, we're going to go ahead and start this. It's not to cause fitna. Once again, these guys are the ones causing fitna. These guys are the ones who started this. These guys are the ones who wanted to make this a public thing. So now I'm going to speak on it because now they're giving false information and speaking poorly about people that don't even know them. I follow Jake. I've watched Jake's videos. I've liked Jake's videos. Now, I've unsubscribed to Jake. Why? Because his response video to Daniel is, I hate all the Shia, I hate Iran. Okay, I'm Shia. I follow you. I support you. I make sure you feed your family and you get paid from YouTube. I make sure that I give you support as a Shia Muslim and I hear you out and I hear your stances. You hate me, you don't even know who I am, you don't even know what I believe in, you hate me. My people are fighting to defend Palestinians, and you're sitting there, sitting on your couch and eating, wearing a fake Donald Trump hat. How in the world are you going to compare yourself to the Shia Muslims? You're a coward, bro. And then you want to talk with Shia Muslims are not Muslim, they're this, they're bad, they're bad. So let's go ahead and see what he has to say, and let's respond to it.
So I'm not going to give this false sense of hope and cheer something on when they weren't successful in really doing anything of substance. Now, Daniel obviously disagrees with that. But don't accuse me of being a Zionist puppet or a useful idiot or I just hate Iran and the Shia. No, that's not the case. Although I do hate Iran and the Shia, it has nothing to do with why I'm not celebrating. Give me something to actually celebrate about. You haven't done that.
So basically he's talking about Iran. He's saying Iran didn't do enough damage to Israel. I shouldn't be celebrating what Iran did. I hate Iran. I hate the Shia. And they didn't do anything as impactful as I'd hope. So there's nothing to celebrate about. Iran threw some missiles. It barely hit. And I'm not happy about it. So what do you expect me to say? What do you expect me to do? You want me to back Iran and the Shia? I hate Iran. I hate the Shia. That's his conclusion.
And today
that is how he started his video about Daniel. He wanted to tell all the Shia of the world and Iran, a superpower, that he hates them and he doesn't stand with them no matter what. And he'll spend the next 19 minutes, which we probably won't be able to watch the whole entire thing, but he'll spend the next 19 minutes telling Daniel how much he hates the Shia and why. And for some reason, this is what they're arguing about, is who can hate the Shia more. And it's wild that you would really be focusing on something like this while they're the ones fighting for Palestine and you're sitting on the couch getting fatter. It's crazy to me that you're so focused on the Shia and how they're not Muslims and how you need to condemn them and how they're your enemy when they're the only people fighting for this ummah. They're the only people fighting for Islam. They're the only people who understand the sunnah of the Prophet and his family. Peace and blessings be upon them. And why they died, how they died for the religion of Islam. It's crazy to me that you don't see this. You don't see this, especially as a revert, someone new in the religion. You're a baby, bro. You have so much time to develop and understand things. And this is how you think? Like an extremist? Like ISIS? Like Taliban? You have the same mindset as ISIS, a Western-backed terrorist group that was used to destroy the Middle East and kill Muslims. Crazy.
Unfortunate episode, but an important one nonetheless. I have to talk about the recent so-called controversy and back and forth that has been taking place on social media between myself and Daniel Haqiqatjou, and others have been involved as well, but mostly the two of us somewhat directly, although I've been a bit more direct and Haqiqatjou somewhat indirect, but lately has been mustering up the guts to actually be a little bit more direct. Now, I say it's unfortunate because I truly actually mean that. Unfortunately, I think it's important enough that I have to say the things that I've been saying and that I will continue to say as long as this actually goes on. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about Daniel Haqiqatjou's obsession of uniting with the Shia and basically condemning anyone as either Zionist puppets or so-called medkhalis or what he likes to term useful idiots, which he's basically called myself a useful idiot, Muhammad Hijab, Sheikh Uthman al-Khamis, and anybody who disagrees with him on his characterization of the events that have taken place or allying with the Shia and these different things related to Palestine, we're all useful idiots or Zionist puppets or one of these derogatory names that he'd like to call us. And as I said, it's very unfortunate because Daniel has been someone who has been a friend in the past, but I have to stand up for what I think is correct. Now, I'm going to show some clips from things that he said recently and break them down and show that not only is he incorrect in a lot of things that he's saying.
So he's saying that he stands against the Shia, he does not like the Shia, and in a time like this, you should unite with the Shia, not stand against them, because they're fighting Israel and protecting their Palestinian Muslim brothers and sisters who are Sunni. The Shia are fighting and dying, risking their countries, risking their economies, their infrastructures, their families to protect your people. Your people who talk about us, who talk bad against us. Those Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank, they slander on Shia all day. They talk crap about Shia all day, and we're fighting and dying for them. So you want to talk bad about the Shia, right? What Daniel's saying is very accurate. You want to stand against the Shia in a time where the Shia are standing for you, standing for the Palestinians. You want to stand against them. Your ego is so high and strong that you won't put it down for 2 seconds to fix the Palestinian issue, to go save the Sunni Muslims in Palestine, to stand with the Shia and fight against Israel. You won't put your ego down because you don't want to side with the Shia. It's all an ego thing. So he's calling you a Wahhabi Zionist backer, and you are, because that's exactly what Saudi Arabia is. You have the same ideology as Saudi Arabia's regime, the Wahhabi regime. You have the same ideology as ISIS. Screw the Shia, F the Shia, kill the Shia. They're my enemy. I'll never side with them. I will kill 1 billion Muslims. I will kill 1 billion Christians. I will destroy the whole infrastructure of the Middle East as long as we're not friends with Shia. Like, that's how you're making it sound. You're making it sound like no matter what, we're not supposed to come together as an ummah to fight these individuals. Do you think the Jewish people who run the world care if they're atheist or not? That's why they run the world, because they actually come together and work together. That's why things happen. You do realize 1.8 billion Sunnis sitting at home not doing anything physically is not going to help. You think that sitting there and going, Allah, please, please, please help my Palestinian brothers and sisters, somehow a magic, Allah's going to pick up all the Palestinians and throw them in the sky and put them in a magic box and protect them, or somehow a big tidal wave's going to come and wipe out Israel and only kill the Israelis and keep the Palestinians? Like, what in your mind do you think's going to happen if you don't take action? The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, when they came to kill him and kill all of his followers and stop him from spreading the religion of Islam and being a prophet, did he sit in his room and go, Allah, please protect me, and then Allah just hid him in the sky? Or did he go into war and did he fight? You have to fight, bro. There's the difference. That's the difference between the Sunni and the Shia right now. You want to talk about the Shia and you want to talk about how bad they are, but the Shia, you know what they say? They say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though these people hate me, even though these people talk against me, please give us the strength to protect them. And they go fight. You say, Allah, please protect the Palestinians. The Shia are praying, please protect me so I can protect the Palestinians. You guys don't want to protect your people. You guys don't want to stand up for what's right. You guys have no merit. You don't even, like, you're scared to die. What, like, you really don't think for 2 seconds, do you? When things are right, you don't think. You just go to your ego and you go, oh, Wahhabi, Muhammad Hijab, oh, this is the way I think, Saudi regime, screw the Shia are bad people, Shia are bad. They told me the Shia are bad people 100 times, so it must be true, Shias, screw Shias. Like, what do you actually know? Let's see.
But if he's actually consistent, he'd have to call a lot of people useful idiots.
Like, I don't know why you want to be enemies so bad with the Shia. I promise you, and I'm going to say this right now, right? The people who are Sunni Muslim, mostly the Salafi and Wahhabi minorities, right? Who hate Shia with all their heart, right? They always say they're worse than Christians, they're worse than Jews. They're worse than Christians, they're worse than Jews. Because they're Muslim, they know the truth, and they decide to innovate. This is what they think in their head. This is what they say in their head. You guys do understand that Sunni Islam also has innovations. There are plenty of innovations. I've made videos about them. It's not just Shia Islam. There's innovations across the whole religion of Islam, guys. You need to make sure you have a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you're doing the research and you're reading yourself and you're connecting to your creator yourself, so you don't fall under these innovations. I'm Shia, I don't smack myself. I'm Shia, I don't worship imams. I don't know anyone who does that. So if you're talking about innovations, I don't do these innovations that you're talking about. I only follow the religion of Islam the way it is intended to be followed. I follow the religion of Islam the way the Prophet Muhammad and his family follow the religion of Islam. This is how I follow it, not the way anyone else did. So don't sit here and tell me I'm an innovator on this or on this, because I'm not. You don't know me personally. Just because Sunnis and Shias both go and they like to innovate because they're egos, they want to be right so much, they start innovating and they turn the religion into a tradition or a culture rather than following it to get close to God. They follow it to prove that they're right. That's the issue in the world, and that's what you're wearing on your chest. You're wearing your religion on your chest to be right, not to educate people and not to come together or not to learn anything. You're wearing your religion on your chest as a weapon to use against other people who are less knowledgeable than you, but you come off as the idiot. So it's kind of crazy.
So let's take a look at some of those clips.
There are a lot of people now, like obviously the Madkhalis, the bootlickers, and then the non-Madkhali, but they're, as I've called them, the useful idiots for Zionism, who are saying, oh, this was all theater. Oh, Iran really didn't do anything. This was just... this is just a show. It's just a fireworks display. This is so laughably stupid. Like, the people who are saying this are truly embarrassing themselves.
They are embarrassing themselves because Iran's actually doing something. So the second Iran does something, the second the Shia Muslims do something, the Sunni Muslims, not the Sunni Muslims, but the Wahhabi regime that controls everything above it, Saudi Arabia wants to come out and say, what? What do they want to say? The top scholars in Sunni Islam who are Wahhabi, they come out and say, oh, Iran didn't do anything. It's a fireworks show. It's just for show. It's just to show. Because they don't want to give credit to the Shia people. It's that simple. It's all an ego game. It's all it is. You guys do not want to give credit. It's all it is. No credit at all. But then some white guy named Macklemore makes a song about Palestine and you'll praise him. Look at this white guy, this Christian. He's standing up for Palestine. He made a song about him. Freaking music's haram to you. And you still believe this guy did more than the Shia who are dying, risking their lives, risking their countries, blowing... Like, are you mental? And this is literally how it goes. Iran's going to keep striking, and the Saudi government and their top scholars are going to keep coming out and going, Sunni Muslims, the Shia are Rafadi liars, do not trust them. They did not do anything. This is all a show so that you trust them. They want you to trust them. They're dying, and they're risking their countries and their families, and they're sending billions of dollars in weaponry and missiles to Israel as a show, just so the Sunnis love them. They want Sunni acceptance. Like, it's crazy, this ideology they try and spin and feed to the mainstream. It's crazy, the lies. The shaitan is everywhere. In Islam and Christianity and Judaism and our media and everything, the shaitan is here. And that's why there's an antichrist, and that's why he'll deceive the whole world, not just Christians, not just Jewish, but Muslims too. And that's why the Mahdi will come, and he is divinely chosen to come from the bloodline of Ahlul Bayt, which means Ahlul Bayt is divinely chosen as well. Crazy. The way you guys may think with this Wahhabi mindset, it blows my mind. So yes, Daniel's right. Unfortunately, I don't agree with everything Daniel says. I don't think Daniel's right all the time either. But Daniel doesn't speak like you. He's not as ignorant as you. And he tries to at least come from a middle ground, or at least tries to speak about it properly, or he tries to find all of the things in between to go ahead and give benefit of the doubt. But you're just, I hate Shia, I hate this, I hate Daniel, don't talk about me. Like, bro, what are you, 5 years old?
And they should be mocked. They should be mocked.
Bro, as a grown man, as an American grown man with a beard, like, you look like one of those white dudes with like Macho Man. You are acting like a little girl.
Laughed at that they don't have any clue what they're talking about. It's embarrassing to make this claim that this was just a fireworks show. It just means that you're you're ignorant.
I know he didn't respond yet, but he's going to. And he's going to respond with some Wahhabi crap.
I also want to point out the hypocrisy or the moral problem of those who are claiming that Iran strike are mere fireworks or it's just a play, because they're doing the work of Israel. They're doing the work of Israel for them. Why? Because Israel wants Muslims to be helpless, to be demoralized, to be depressed. Israel wants the Muslim world to feel like there's no hope. We're at the mercy of Israel. Israel can do whatever they want. They can kill us with our beepers, with our pagers. They can kill us with these airstrikes, these missiles, these bunker buster missiles. Even our leaders, if they're 40 feet underground, can be targeted. There's nowhere to hide. That's what Israel wants. And so these bootlickers and these useful idiots who are saying it's just theater, it's just theater. First of all, my first critique was that they're just simply ignorant. They're ignorant. They don't understand modern warfare. They don't understand these technological developments. That's the first point. But they're also doing the work of Israel. So they're morally...
They're 100% doing the work of Israel. They're causing a fitna. They're trying to tell this. They're trying to tell all of Sunni Muslims these Shias aren't doing nothing. They're just putting up a fireworks show. And Israel's actually much stronger than Iran. And Israel's much stronger than Lebanon. And don't side with the Shia. And the Shia are this. And the Shia are that. And the Shia are this. And they're not Muslim. So because they're not backed by God. And because they commit shirk. They're not Muslim. God does not help them. God does not fight with them. Don't fight with them. Don't team with them. They work against... They want Muslims against Muslims. This is what the Saudi regime wants. This is what the Wahhabi regime wants. And you're so dumb that you listen to them and you get all your information on Islam from them. And then you go ahead and project this narrative on 300 million Muslims and the rest of the Muslim world. And you start, like, is it really worth it, Jake? Is it really worth it? I thought Islam was about connecting to God, being guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, training your soul, training your body to be ready for its afterlife. What does this have to do with anything? Your ego and your Wahhabi regime, what does that have to do with anything? And I know you're going to respond, but what he's saying is absolutely right. You guys are useful idiots because all you're doing is Israel's job for them. You're just dividing the Muslims when the Muslims should be coming together and fighting a power. If you look up what's the Jewish population of the world, I think it's 15 million Jews. You know the Muslim population of the world is 2 billion people and they're doing nothing about it. The only people who are doing anything about it are the 300 million Shia in Lebanon, Iran, and Yemen. So you tell me where you are, Mr. Wahhabi. Where are you, Saudi Arabia, who bought $1 trillion worth of weaponry from Donald Trump 4 years ago? Where are you in a situation like this? Since Iran is just shooting fireworks, where are the bombs? Saudi, Gulf, leaders of the Muslim world, people who go ahead and control the center of the Muslim world, Mecca and Medina, where are you guys? You guys are Muslimin? Into Yahudi. You guys are Zionist. And anyone that backs these people are Zionist too. So is that why you're upset, Jake? Because you love the Saudi regime so much and you love the Saudi sheikhs so much and you're a Wahhabi? And when someone talks about Wahhabis, you get upset like when people talk about Shia like me right now? Is that why you're so defensive?
Problematic, and they should be shamed for this. Why are you...
So anyone who says that what happened, Iran's so-called response attack on Israel, anyone who says that this is mostly just posturing and it was just a fireworks show and not any significant damage or really nothing significant that Israel has to worry about in response to the attack, anyone who says that is a useful idiot, is doing the work of Israel, should be shamed. All of these different things that he's saying. Now, who are the people who have said this? Well, let me show you that Daniel's good friend, or at least I thought he was, Brother Muhammad Hijab. Let's see what he had to say. Now, he made this post just shortly after the attack. He said, "How low have we set the bar when the impotence and weakness of all Sunni Muslim states have left us so desperate that a mere fireworks display by a Shia state can spark a false sense of..."
This is the most ignorant comment I've ever seen in my life. Muhammad Hijab, for the last year and a half, watching his own Palestinian brothers get blown up as he goes and makes speeches, as he tells people, oh, I got my friend married with McDonald's meal and he had sex with her and then we divorced. As he makes fun of Shia for doing mut'a and he does his misyar marriage over McDonald's meals so his friend could have sex and divorce the woman so he could have a prostitute for the night. And he does all of this sick oh my God, he does all this sick stuff over the last year. And then he wants to go, oh, fireworks show from the Shia give the Sunnis hope. Inshallah, someone gives the Sunnis hope because you're not doing it. You're fat, so runs around the United States of America getting paid to give fake speeches about the resistance and how bad Israel is and how we need to protect the Palestinians. You're Palestinian yourself. What are you doing? You're doing absolutely nothing. You're one of the biggest Muslim voices on the whole internet, Muhammad Hijab. And this is what you tell your people? You want to divide them. It's like, oh, guys, don't forget the Shia are the enemy. Don't go ahead and praise their fireworks show. Don't get any hope. Don't have hope that you're going to be Israel. Don't have hope that you can fight Israel. You can't fight Israel. It's just a fireworks show. Stay at home and stay safe. Like, what kind of mental person sends this? An egotistical person, someone who hates Shia people, who doesn't want to give them a point on the board. Muhammad Hijab hates Shia people so much, he doesn't want to give them a point. He doesn't want to say, you know, good job, Iran. He doesn't want to say good job to the Shia people of Lebanon who are risking their whole country to protect the Palestinian people, who are protecting my grandfather, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles who are in Gaza, in the West Bank. No. He wants to degrade them and say, it's a fireworks show. Don't trust the Shia. Don't give them points. Don't have any false hope. This war is far from over. And don't find hope from the Shia. Find hope from me. I'm more of a good person to give you this hope. It's crazy the way these people talk. So yes, thank you for showing this message on the screen, Jake, because this is the type of Wahhabi stuff that I'm talking about right here. Is instead of being a normal person and going, these people are fighting Israel, we should fight Israel while they're fighting Israel, so more Muslims are fighting Israel. These guys say they're Shia, we don't like them, they're not Muslim, don't back them, don't support them, and if they do anything to Israel, don't give them any credit. Crazy.
Of joy. So he's mocking it. He's saying it's a false sense of joy. He's saying these were mere fireworks. And Daniel Haqiqatchu is saying anyone who says what Hijab said, this is his mere fireworks and a false sense of joy, is a useful idiot, is doing
100%. He's Wahhabi controlled, does not care about the religion of Islam, does not care about the Palestinian people, does not want the betterment and to fight Israel. All he wants to do is discredit the Shia and take any credit away from the Shia. And as we are in a war, a religious war that may summon the Antichrist, may summon the saviors of the world, the Messiah, the Mahdi, as we're in a point of time where the family of Rasulullah, the Ahlul Bayt's family, the Shia people are fighting the Jewish people, the Yahudis, right? As this is happening, the Sunni Muslims sit back and make comments like this. And you're Palestinian. It's just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling how big your ego is. It consumes everything about you.
Doing the work of the Zionist state of Israel and should be publicly shamed. So Daniel Haqiqatchu, if you...
He's 100% doing the work of the Zionist state of Israel, who is the Zionist state of the Wahhabi regime of Saudi Arabia. He's doing the same exact job. They are the same people. They are the same exact family. There's no difference. They're both Yahudi. They both run the same exact bloodline. They both do the same thing. They both have the same goal. They both have the same allies. And all you're doing is playing a double-sided coin. When it's your benefit, you play the Saudi regime and go, I'm Muslim, I'm Muslim. And then when it's in your benefit, you play the opposite end and you want to take the Western side. It's ridiculous. And you guys are out of control when it comes to this stuff. Your egos, especially when you have millions of people following you, you should not be saying stuff like this. No.
You have any guts, why don't you come out and why don't you actually tag Muhammad Hijab, quote this tweet right here, and put your video saying that he should be publicly shamed, that he's doing the work of Israel, and that he's a useful idiot. But you won't do that because you're a
I will.
Coward. You don't have enough guts to actually do it. I actually have enough guts to come out and make these videos, to make these tweets, to respond to what you're saying and to directly name you because I have no qualms about it. I have no worries about it whatsoever.
I feel like me and Jake are very, very similar when it comes down to it. When we got something to say, we got something to say. Now, everything Jake says probably isn't the greatest. I mean, I don't agree with him. Has this Wahhabi ideology, and for some reason, he doesn't want to help the people who are helping the Palestinians. He wants to fight against the people who are helping the Palestinians. So I don't know what side he's on. I guess he's his own group of person who hates Jews and hates Shias and hates everyone, but doesn't want to do anything about it. I guess that is the right side, the side of Muhammad, Hijab, and Jake. The Wahhabi side of things, where you just sit back, talk crap about Jews, talk crap about Shias, and actually do nothing about it and watch them blow each other up. I think that is the best option. I think I might convert to Wahhabism and go sit in my chair and smoke a hookah with you guys, and we can watch everyone die together, and we can make fun of them while they blow each other up. I think that's a much better option. Wahhabism for the win.
Has to be said is what I'm going to actually say. But will you say it? No, you won't. And we're going to show numerous examples of this, of how you're actually a coward and afraid to say the things that you have been saying directly to certain people. But it's not only Muhammad Hijab, it's other than him, other people that you claim to have respected. And I'm going to show more examples of this in just a second. But then you claim anyone who has this response is also ignorant, knows nothing about geopolitics, and you make fun of certain people and the work that they've done in the past. And I did catch on that, and some other people would catch that. But that's okay. I'm going to keep certain personal things out of it other than attacking you for your statements and the beliefs that you've held. Somebody else responds and says something similar. A popular account, Propaganda & Co., says, this isn't your area of expertise, which you like to say to me. Fine, fair enough. Just sit this one out, brother. What did Muhammad Hijab say? I've got a degree in politics, done my first master's dissertation on the Palestine conflict, and authored 2 books on the topic, and have been following the Middle Eastern conflict in...
Once again, congratulations. You went to school. You were taught by Western books, Western history, Western conflicts, Western everything. Congrats. You went to the UK, and you were literally taught everything about politics and everything about economics and everything about the world from the Western standpoint, from the UK's standpoint. Who's the UK? The UK is Israel. Who's the UK? The UK is the United States. They're the same people. Who are they? They're also Saudi Arabia. These guys are all cousins. These guys are all in affiliation with each other. There's no damn difference. So congratulations that you have a 12-year degree in UK politics and you understand the world's politics and things of this nature from a Wahhabi and a UK mindset. That doesn't help the people who don't have your mindset, which is most people on the planet who don't think like you. So you are taking your biases and your ego and your belief system and you're overlaying it on your political understanding and on your master's degree, and you think you know what you're talking about. But it doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. You might be qualified to speak about politics. That doesn't mean you're right about it. It doesn't mean you know what you're talking about. It just means that you have a certificate that qualifies you to do it because you did it for so long. Anyone else can study politics for as long as you, or they can study outside of school and they can be 10 times smarter than you. That doesn't mean because you went to school and you got fed a specific curriculum in the order the government wanted to feed it into your mouth and you paid $100,000 to get spoon-fed information you could have got online for free, that you're somehow more qualified than anyone else. That's not how it works nowadays. Wake up.
In both English and Arabic languages. Please detail your qualifications. So what are your qualifications for this, Daniel?
But I understand what he's saying. He's responding to Daniel because Daniel's asking for qualifications. And Muhammad Hijab is saying, I'm more qualified than you to speak on these things. If you're asking for qualifications and degrees and things like this, I'm more qualified than you. So yes, what Muhammad Hijab was saying there to Daniel is a completely good response. And I'll take that.
Are they better than Brother Muhammad Hijab's? Leave me out of this. Who cares? I don't have any qualifications, so-called, for political analysis and geopolitics. What's your degree in? Because last time I checked, you had a bachelor's in physics and a minor in philosophy, and then I think you got your master's in philosophy. So where's your expertise?
I have no degree. My degree is my experience, my lifetime, me being Shia my whole entire life. My degree is being Lebanese, my family being from the South Lebanon, for me experiencing things my whole life, for me hearing things my whole life, for me seeing things my whole life. This is my experience when it comes down to it, is firsthand experience of my family and my country being destroyed by these people. My family and my country being attacked by Sunni Muslims like yourself, and lies and propaganda being spread about us. Me being attacked in the street by Sunni Muslims because people like you like to go ahead and spread misinformation about us. And you guys are ignorant. So yes, my whole entire life I was persecuted for being Shia Muslim, and it's always been a problem. But like, it's crazy to me to see how these guys actually are still trying to fight the Shia, as the Shia are trying to revive the Muslim Ummah. 1.8 billion Sunnis sit back and watch. Like, this guy makes stink face and argue with each other online. This is crazy.
On. Other than, the study that you've supposedly been doing on the internet, which I've been doing as well. So maybe you've been doing it longer, who knows? But the excuse that you want to make doesn't work, because look at what Muhammad Hijab had to respond with that. So are you still want to call him a useful idiot? Go ahead, be my guest. That's your choice. But anyway, let's continue and listen to some of the other things that Daniel had to say.
You have figures like Sheikh Al-Albani. You have figures like Mufti Taqi Uthmani, Sheikh Hassan al-Diddu, Sheikh Uthman al-Khamis. Okay, all of these modern ulama, present day ulama, have made statements that are against the mass takfir of Shia. So don't take my word for it. Go to these actual sources, and I've listed them, and I was thinking about playing them, but I remember getting a copyright strike from one of these channels about whether the Shia are kuffar. We will go in detail, but if you want an appetizer, you want to see that, okay, Daniel is not making stuff up, here are some of the top scholars across a diversity of manahij, madhahib. You have the Salafi side, you have the Deobandi side, you have the Shinqiti side, variety, and they're all saying the same thing. It's a mistake to do mass takfir of the Shia.
You know what I find interesting? Within Sunni Islam, there's allowed to be Salafis, there's allowed to be Wahhabi, there's allowed to be Maliki, there's allowed to be Halif, there's allowed to be all these different schools of thoughts who pray different, who do things different, who believe they can eat or not eat specific foods, who do everything different from each other, right? But then the Shia are not allowed to have their own school of thought that come from the Imams, who are the family of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him. We're not allowed to learn the Sunnah of the Prophet through his family, but you guys are allowed to learn the Sunnah of the Prophet through 100 different random Imams who are not related to the Prophet, who are not from the divine bloodline the Mahdi comes from. You guys learn it from a bunch of random people. You guys choose your Imam, and then you guys don't argue with each other. You guys don't hate each other. You hate the Shia, who literally follow the Sunnah of the Prophet through his Ahl al-Bayt. And I find this very, very interesting, because not all people are the same. Some people, like I said, there are people who claim to be Shia, who take chains during Ashura and slap themselves in their back and bleed and cut their foreheads and do all this crazy stuff. No Imam told us to do this. No Prophet told us to do this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't tell us to do this. No one told us to smack ourselves. You're not Shia. You're not even Muslim if you're doing stuff like that. That's innovation. So when you guys trying to attach this innovation aspect to Shia Islam, it doesn't exist. There's no innovation in Shia Islam. There is innovation when it comes to a person who wants to take their ego and turn their religion into a tradition. That is where the ego comes from. That is where the innovation comes from. So it happens with Sunnis, it happens with Shias, it happens all across the board. People take their religion, they innovate it, and they put it full force as an ego thing. Like, I'm right, you're wrong, I do this, oh, I love this, or I hate this. And that is how it goes. Now, if you want to be knowledgeable and you want to study Shia Islam, you want to study Sunni Islam, you want to open the Hadiths, you want to open the Quran, you want to actually read, you get a whole completely different outlook and understanding of the sects, of the religion, than when you're talking to ignorant people like these people. It just is what it is. Knowledge is power. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a brain, gave us eyes, He gave us these beautiful books that have been preserved in the history and the people. He's given it to us as a reference to help us find Him, to help us find ourselves. This is not something that should be very, very, very difficult or very, very, very hard. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want to make it hard for us to come to Him. So these people use their egos to battle each other. You cannot put a mass takfir on the whole entire group of 300 million people because you're ignorant to what they believe. Because you see a group of these guys doing something that's That's shirk. You can't do that. I see ISIS, I see Osama bin Laden blowing up buildings and hiding. I see the Taliban, I see all these groups. I see the Wahhabi Saudi government. I don't sit here and do a mass takfir and say all Sunni Muslims are not Muslim because of all the things that these organizations and groups and governments are doing. What kind of sicko thinks like you? This is the most American way of thinking. Like, Osama bin Laden's a terrorist. Now all Muslims are terrorists. Like this idea that you put in your head that all Shia are just kafir. And this is not okay. You cannot do that. You're not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be judging people like this. But
and they go even further than that in other statements too. Like if the Shia are successful in fighting against the Zionists, the Zionist threat, the Zionist occupation, then Sunnis should appreciate that. They should be happy about that, or they should ally with that. Those statements are also present from the top scholars within the Sunni world. So despite...
if someone's fighting in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and they're Muslim and they're fighting for the Palestinian cause and there's 1.8 billion Sunnis watching, you should definitely help. Yes, good job. That is a very, very, very easy examination. The only person who would examine anything opposite is a straight Wahhabi who is Zionist Jewish, who sides with Israel, who's playing a double-sided coin and wants to pretend they're Muslim. That's it. It's people who want to say the Shia are bad, the Shia are bad, the Shia are bad. The people who are egotistical. Those are the only people who are going to tell you, sit back and watch Palestinians get blown up and Shia people fight and get blown up too. They're the only people who are ignorant and sick enough in the head to tell a Muslim audience this. Like, astaghfirullah. Imagine if our Prophet was here. Peace and blessings be upon him. Imagine if his Ahlul Bayt was here. This is why the Mahdi comes from the Ahlul Bayt. Just letting you guys know, the family of the Prophet. Peace and blessings be upon him. Because people like this are not going to get the job done.
Because these are scholars that are top scholars and they're not bought. They're not under a boot. They're not, going to be in jail. I mean, they would be in jail, actually, if they travel to certain places. But they're not in jail. They can speak independently, so they speak what the Quran and Sunnah actually hold.
So notice that he listed a number of scholars, Sheikh Al-Albani and Sheikh Uthman Al-Khamis. Keep in mind those two names. And he says that these are some of the top scholars from all different perspectives. So don't take Daniel's word for it. And he's going on about this issue of general takfir of the Shia. That's really not my issue. That's never been my main issue with Daniel. My main issue is his stressing upon the necessity of uniting with the Shia. And they're the great white knight. They're the great last hope for all of Muslims and the...
They are. If they're gone, who's going to do anything? If Lebanon gets destroyed and the Shia are taken out of Lebanon, if Iran gets destroyed and there's no Shia in Iran, if the Shia of Yemen get destroyed, who is going to protect the Palestinians? Who is going to protect Lebanon? Who is going to protect Iran? Who is going to protect Yemen? Who? You? Your Wahhabi friends? Who? They've been sitting back and watching with the trillions of dollars they have, their oil pumping, getting sold to the United States at double the price now because of this war. They love the war. They want to see the Shia die. You think it's okay to just leave this whole entire thing and sit back and watch? Because of what? Your ego? You're a sicko, dude. You're a sicko. Your stance is sick. Yes.
For the Palestinians, and they're the only ones that are going to do anything.
The Shia are, unfortunately, the white knights of the Middle East right now, and without them and what they're doing, Israel would be trampling the Middle East right now. Gaza and the Palestinian people would be gone right now. You have no clue what you're talking about. And because your ego's so big, you don't want to admit it. You don't want to side with it. You don't. You want to demise them. You want to discredit them. You want to talk against them still. Astaghfirullah. Bro, your ego is so big, it's crazy. You expose yourself. It's so sad. Wallahi, it's so sad that people are online promoting Islam, trying to bring people closer to God, and they act like this.
And really,
you know what the Quran says? You know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells you is to wear your religion on your chest. No. You don't get people to Islam by talking their ears off. You get people to Islam by showing them, by leading through example. And unfortunately, the only human beings on this planet who are leading by example right now are the Shia Muslims. The only people who are making the Sunnis stand up, the only people who are making the world stand up right now for those Palestinian people are the Shia Muslims, who are saying, no matter what, no matter how hard our enemy is, we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us strength and the Palestinian people strength to fight this evil enemy, to fight this shaitan. And they're the only people who are standing up and doing it. So yes, they are the white knights, Jake. Yes, they are the ones who are going to put an end to this, Jake. Yes, they are the ones who are making the Sunni Muslims see how disgusting this regime is in Saudi Arabia, seeing the double standard in your face and in your video. You know how many Sunni Muslims are in your comment section calling you out on your crap right now? Because they see it with their eyes. They're done listening to the garbage. They're seeing it. Because Islam is led through action. It's not led through words. And you can see that the Shia Muslims are the true Muslims, are the ones who are pushing the front line, defending Islam. They're the ones putting the religion forefront as you sit back and watch and eat chips and talk about them online. Don't worry, brother. Actions speak louder than words. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically told us how to spread the religion of Islam. The Shia Muslims have no problem putting their lives, putting their everything on the forefront for the religion of Islam, for their Prophet, for their Ahlul Bayt. Peace and blessings be upon them all, and for their other Muslim brothers and sisters in Palestine and in the bordering countries. They will always put their life on the line. They will always sacrifice everything because this world is temporary, and they will always protect those who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if they hate them, even if they go against them, even when people are acting like you.
Defeating the Zionists, and they're the last great hope to defeating the Zionists. I think that this is a false hope. I think this is Daniel's ignorance, as I can say. I am not somebody, and I've been very clear about this, I don't believe that Daniel is literally a Iran.
Do you know who comes and defeats the Zionists? The Mahdi. Do you know who the Mahdi is? He's from the Ahlul Bayt. He's from the family of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Do you know who the Shia are? They are from the Ahlul Bayt. A lot of them are from the Ahlul Bayt. They're Sayyids. They come from the same bloodline. They follow the same rules. They follow the same characteristics as this Mahdi, as his grandfather and his grandfather and his grandfather, as Imam Ali alayhi salam, as Imam Hassan alayhi salam, as Imam Hussein alayhi salam. The way they sacrificed for their religion. They weren't sitting in castles, clicking buttons, and making things happen with armies. No, they were out there on the forefronts, fighting for the religion of Islam, fighting for the preservance of Islam, fighting to keep the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, sunnah in protection. But you don't understand that. You don't comprehend that because you don't know history. You don't know Islamic history. And the same thing is happening today. The Shia will continue to fight for the religion. They will continue to fight for their brothers and sisters. They will continue to fight the enemy. They will continue to put the religion of Islam on the forefront and lead by example and action as the Sunni Muslims of the world, Wahhabis especially, people like yourself. I'm not talking about all Sunni Muslims because most of the Sunni Muslims I interact with and I engage with are amazing human beings. They understand Islam nowhere near this guy's extreme view, and they're amazing human beings because they follow the sunnah of the Prophet. They pray, they fast, they do these things. They're Muslimin. So I have no problem with Sunni Muslims. I have a problem with these Wahhabi people who want to act like the Shia are doing nothing and discredit them and do all this stuff and try and take all the credit as they sit back, watch, take all of the weaponry, take all of the everything, build their countries into these grand countries, spread this sickening ideology and spread hate and fitna on the religion, and then sit back and go, we did it all. We're the truth. We're the preservation of Islam. We are this, as everyone else is dying for them. You can eat garbage, bro. Eat shit.
Iranian agent. I don't believe that. I believe he actually thinks whatever he's saying, for the most part, is true. He actually believes in this. But I believe he's deeply and sadly mistaken. That's my position. So I've never accused him of being an agent. In fact, I've said exactly the opposite. I don't think he's an agent. I don't think he's doing taqiyya and a crypto Shia. I don't believe in that. And I think anybody who's doing that is actually wrong, right? So any of my followers, if you are attacking Daniel, I don't appreciate that whatsoever. I mean, I've called him a coward. I've called him other things. I believe that he's actually the useful idiot for Iran, but nevertheless, I don't believe he's actually a Shia agent. But he's praising
the people in the countries that are fighting the Zionist state of Israel and the United States of America, who are the superpowers of the world. He's praising the people who have nothing, that are fighting for everything, as you sit back and do nothing. Yes, he is. It's normal to do. You should too. Instead of continuously trying to bash people, you should uplift them and then help them so that the problem that we're facing in the world ends. But you don't want to. You want to sit back and just bitch and complain about everything, bro. Just complain about it all and attack the Shia and attack the Jews and attack everyone, and then you're just right because you're sitting on a couch doing nothing. Congrats to you and your scholars for doing nothing.
Sheikh Al-Albani and Sheikh Uthman Al-Khamis and all of these scholars are actually, they would be supporting Daniel's idea and his understanding. So keep that in mind, because I'm going to show you a clip from Sheikh Uthman Al-Khamis, which says exactly the opposite of what Daniel is trying to portray. And another thing I want to be clear about, I'm not happy or like so celebrating.
Is this Sheikh Khamis? Let's hear what he has to say, and then we'll go ahead and end it here. I don't want to... The video is getting really, really long, and I don't want to overextend it. But
Muslims,
the more I've went through this, the more I've had to respond to some of the things this guy says. Because no matter what subject is coming his way, he's just trying to evade it by throwing it all back on the Shia and saying the Shia are this and Iran is this. And no matter what happens, no matter how right they... If God himself declared the Shia as right and told you to go fight with the Shia, you still wouldn't do it because you hate the Shia. It's crazy, bro. Your ignorance, your ego, it's crazy. Let's see what Mr. Khamis, or whatever his name, has to say.
Killed many more Muslims than Israel, and he's mocking that and saying basically anybody who believes this is a fool. Can we fact check that? Where are you getting this from? Well, let's go to Sheikh Uthman Al-Khamis, who you praise as one of the
Uthman Al-Khamis is his name, and let's see what he has to say about
top
the Shia
scholars alive today. Let's go and listen to see what he said.
By the way, guys, you see this guy? This guy is full Wahhabi Salafi, works for the Saudi Arabian regime. This individual right here. And I know he used him because Daniel quoted him, but this individual right here is a puppet as well. He travels the world, he gives these speeches, he says all this garbage. Let's see what he has to say about the Shia people. We're enemies, we're the worst, these are the worst people on the planet, they are like shaitan, bury them in the ground, screw these people are the worst. Let's see.
يجب على المسلمين أن يتحدوا لكن تتحد مع من والله هم أشد خطرا من اليهود والنصارى.
Wallahi, he says, I swear on God. This is the biggest thing you swear on is God. He promises on God the Shia are worse than the Jews and the Christians. So he swears on God's name the Shias are worse than the Jews and the Christians. So the Shias, who are defending Palestine, who love Ahlul Bayt, the Prophet, the family of the Prophet, who are Muslimin, who pray 5 times a day and fast and do everything, these people are worse than the Jewish people and the Christians. The Christian America that blew up 1 million people in Iraq, that colonized the whole world. The Christian Roman Empire that destroyed the Native Americans and slaughtered people up and down and have no remorse for anything. Worse than the Jewish regime of Israel, who is bombing and has an apartheid state and is committing a genocide. The Shia are worse. Yes, the Shia are worse. The freedom fighters of Lebanon, the people who ended ISIS, the people who fighted and defeated Al-Qaeda, the people who are fighting the Zionist regime, these are worse than the Christians and the Jews. Just make sure, remember that, ladies and gentlemen. The lovers of Ahlul Bayt, the lovers and the followers of the family of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, these are the worst people on the planet. They're worse than Christians or Jews. Remember that this gentleman, someone of high scholarship, someone who has a high level of influence, is saying this. And guess why? Because he's paid to say this, because he works for the Saudi regime and he is Wahhabi, just like Jake here.
يعني هل رأيتم استحلال دماء المسلمين على يد اليهود والنصارى كما يستحله الشيعة؟ هذه العراق عندكم مثال واضح.
Oh, he's using Iraq as an example. So in Iraq, over 1 million people are dead, and by the hands of the West, not by the hands of the Shia. So once again, you want to talk a lot, right? And he's gonna try and blame Saddam, and he's going to try and use Saddam. And I know what they do because they do this all the time. It's like saying Hitler is the example for all Germans. This is what he's gonna do. He's gonna say Saddam, because he killed a lot of people and he was a bad person. Saddam Hussein, because he was Shia, he represents all Shia. That's what he's going to say. But what about all the Sunni leaders who killed all their people? What about, Gaddafi, and what about in Syria, and what about everywhere else, the leaders who killed their people? the Sunnis? What about the West, the United States, who's a Christian country, who has killed hundreds of millions of people over the last 100 years? What about Israel? You're really going to compare Saddam Hussein to all Shias and then use his death toll as an example to say they're worse than everyone else? You work for America, you work for Saudi Arabia. It's very clear for who you work for. Because we very, very, very well know America has killed way more people than Saddam Hussein. Like, get out of my face,
الفتح
bro.
الإسلامي إلى صدام حسين لم يحكمها شيعي. كل حكام العراق سنة. لم يقتل شيعي على الهوية. لم يأتي يوم ويقتلون الشيعة خاصة لأنهم شيعة أبدا. حتى صدام حسين قتل من السنة أكثر من الشيعة.
That's not true. The Shias were being killed way before Saddam Hussein by the Sunnis. That is not true. It started in Afghanistan in the 80s, and the Taliban were rocking the Shia populations. In Pakistan, all over the place. This is not true. What you're saying is a 100% lie, and we can go ahead and prove it through history. But go ahead and keep talking.
صدام حسين كان على الكرسي.
You want to play victim, sit down, do nothing. You're no different than the Jewish people. You use the same tactic. There's no difference from Israel bombing everything, destroying everything, pointing the blame at other people, calling them terrorists, and sitting back and watching. That's exactly what you're doing. You're pointing the blame at someone else because you're bringing up one event that happened. Saddam Hussein is your October the 7th. Okay? And then you're using him to justify and say that all Shia are bad and they're worse than Christians or Jews because Saddam Hussein. This is crazy. This is literally crazy. It's literally just like October the 7th. You are no different than the Zionist regime. You use the same tactics and you think the same way. What's the difference between you? Because you're wearing the thing on your head? It makes you a sheikh? You somehow are fooling me? You're bamboozling me? Well, you're bamboozling Jake. Jake thinks you're like... what you have to say is the most amazing thing on earth. But me, personally, you're not fooling anyone. You're just as Zionist as those Israelis bombing the Palestinians. You're not doing anything about it and you stand against the people who are doing anything about it. So, like, what makes you different? Daniel's like 100% right.
الذي ينافس على الكثير حتى قتل زوج ابنته. ليست قضية عنده شيعة وسنة، قضية عنده كرسي. وغير صدام كثير من الحكام السابقين ما قتل شيعي لأنه شيعي أو استهدفوا الشيعة، لكن منذ حكم الشيعة العراق ماذا صنعوا؟ كم قتل من أهل السنة؟ أمر ظاهر جدا في لبنان لما تسلط الشيعة وقووا أمر الشيعة ماذا صنعوا؟ وأهل السنة في بيروت وأهل السنة في طرابلس أمور واضحة.
Okay, so he brought up Lebanon. This is so good. I'm so happy he brought up Lebanon. I'm Lebanese. I'm Shia. I'm from Lebanon. So this is fantastic, right? I have friends, family who are Christian, who are Druze, who are Sunni, right? Go to Lebanon. Go to Beirut. Ask them. If you had the chance to remove the Shia population here in Lebanon and remove Hezbollah, would you? Go ask the Sunni people in Beirut who are getting bombed from the sky. Go ask them if they would like to remove Hezbollah, if they like to remove the Shia people. Go ask them. Because that's not the case. Go ask the Christians if they want to remove them. Go ask the Druze people if they want to remove the Shia people. The only people who are defending Lebanon and the only reason Lebanon's not called Israel right now is because the Shia people. It's because they kept the Israelis out. They pushed them out of South Lebanon. The only reason Palestine is being defended right now, your Sunni people, the Sunni Ummah is being protected right now is because those people in Lebanon, those Shia in Lebanon. Ask the Sunni people of Palestine. Ask the Sunni people of Lebanon. I'm happy you brought up the Sunni people of Lebanon. I'm going to bring up the Sunni people of Palestine. The Sunni people of Palestine and the Sunni people of Lebanon. What are they going to say about the Shia? Are they going to think about the Shia like you? Or are they going to call you a Wahhabi? They're going to say you're a Zionist. You don't know what you're talking about. He's feeding a false narrative. He's feeding a very big false narrative. Go to Lebanon. We don't have the issues in Lebanon you have in Iraq. You have in Saudi Arabia. We don't have those issues between the Sunni and the Shia and the Christians. It's not the same. Hezbollah isn't bombing Sunnis. They're protecting them. So go ahead and ask them.
واضحة جدا والآن في سوريا.
And now in Syria. So this must have been happening his speech that he just brought up and he's using is obviously from when ISIS had formed and the Syrian government was going against its people, and ISIS formed and the West funded ISIS. So Hezbollah fought ISIS, okay? And during that time, Hezbollah had to side with the Syrian government, who is Assad, and they didn't like him. The Syrian people didn't like him, so they saw Hezbollah as an enemy because they sided with the government. But they sided with the government to neutralize ISIS, who is an extremist group. So that was funded by the United States. So you have two laterals here. Either you side with the Syrian government, even though you don't like what they're doing, and Hezbollah because they're fighting ISIS, or you side with ISIS, that is a terrorist group that is backed by Saudi Arabia and the United States and funded by the West to destroy Syria and overthrow its government. So you have two laterals here. And if you hated the government and you're biased and you have an ego, you're going to hate what the government did. You're going to hate what Hezbollah had gone ahead and did, and you're going to hold it against them. If you're not using your ego and you are thinking about it logically, you say, do I back the Western world, United States, and ISIS, the terrorist group, or do I back the freedom fighters of Lebanon who have been fighting Israel and fighting the West so they can't gain control of the Middle East? Who do I side with? Or do I side with neither one of them and just stay out of politics and not have an opinion about this? This is where it all comes down to. But people, they just throw their ego right there on the line, and they think it's okay to say what they want. This individual, and it's so funny that this guy's bringing up something from 10 years ago, is so exposing now. It shows how much of a liar this dude is and how paid for he is, because everything is so in your face now. There's such a lateral difference now. He's talking like this about the Shia, but look at the world today. Look what's happening. Yemen's destroyed, not because of the Houthis. Yemen is destroyed because Saudi Arabia.
ولا تعدى عليهم أحد، لكن لما وجدوا فيهم قوة سلطوا على أهل السنة. أهل السنة لا يستبيحون دماء الشيعة.
They crucified Sunnis. They crucified Sunnis, the ones who destroyed the country. The whole reason they're in famine and they're poor is because of Saudi Arabia and the whole regime. You mean they fought the people who destroyed the country?
تدرون ما الفرق؟ نحن يحكمنا الشرع، هم يحكمهم المرجع.
People are dumb. And when I say this very lightly. People are dumb. They listen to anyone that has a degree or is standing on a stage with a microphone, and they just believe it. People are dumb. They actually give this guy merit. Everything this guy's saying is completely garbage. It's completely off track of so far from the truth. And the way he speaks about a group of 300 million people, astaghfirullah, haram. When you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like, you're going to have to answer for all of this.
فنتحد على ماذا؟ تتحد مع من يستبيح دمك ويستبيح.
And Jake is eating this up. He's like, unite with them? We don't unite with them. They're worse than Christians and Jews. They're the worst people on earth. Screw Iran. Screw the Shia. We don't like the Shia. The Shia are bad people. We don't like the Shia. Jake is eating this up. He's loving it right now. He's getting his blood boiling.
So,
forget the Jews, forget the United States, forget everything else and world domination and a new world order and economic collapse, and forget everything else. Just screw the Shia. The Shia are the worst people. You heard it from him, folks. Let's go ahead.
what does the great scholar himself say? Sheikh Uthman al-Khamis? He says that anyone in actual fact that wants to ally with the Shia, why would we do that? Those who say that our blood is lawful want to kill us, that have actually killed more Sunnis than Israel and anyone else, Iran and the Shia,
That is completely not true. The Iran and the Shia have not killed more Sunnis than anyone else. The United States destroys that. The whole entire Roman Empire destroyed that. They completely murked the Ottoman Empire. They've been pushing Palestinians out, the Jewish people, for 100 years. What have the Shia been doing? Bro, come on now. You know that the Shia groups that have formed, none of them are actually terrorists. They don't go out and blow up cars. They don't target specific individuals. They don't do any of that. They specifically make sure that America and Israel cannot spread like a wildfire in the Middle East. And sometimes the Sunni population of specific countries get in the way because they're Wahhabi-ran regime militia groups like ISIS and the Taliban. You cannot count the million ISIS members who died as a Sunni casualty. That is not how this works. You cannot count the whole entire group of Al-Qaeda that has been destroyed and killed and seized as somehow all these Sunni casualties. You need to go ahead and rephrase everything that you like. It's so crazy how much they just want to hate the Shia. They just want to go against the Shia, no matter who their enemy is, no matter what's happening blatantly in their face, no matter how much they know America and Israel does. They will always come after the Shia because they are Wahhabi, egotistical extremists. That's
the ones that have done this.
And Jake is eating it up. He loves it, bro. You love this shit. You are like, I don't know what you were before, and I don't know what you did before, but you have an extreme personality, and I think you found the religion that fits you best. Extremist Wahhabism. Congratulations, Jake.
And we should unite with them? Why? For what? When they think that our blood is lawful, and look what they're doing in all these different countries. And of course,
what are the Shia doing in all these different countries? They're defending you! Look what they're doing! You don't want to clap for them. They're not the white knights. They're your enemy. You said it 100 times. You said, look what the Shia are doing in all of these countries. Look what they're doing. They're dying for you.
Of course, he mentioned what they were doing at the time in Syria, and they're even really still doing that today. So,
okay, what did ISIS do in Syria? What did the opposition of Hezbollah do in Syria? What did ISIS do in Syria? What did ISIS do in Iraq? What did ISIS do in Lebanon? What did ISIS do? Crazy, bro. It's so crazy. It's so crazy to me to see how ignorant, how dumb. He's right. Useful idiots is crazy, Daniel. Perfect. And I don't agree with Daniel either. I don't like Daniel for a lot of things he says. But this is on point. Useful idiots.
Still a useful idiot, Daniel? Yeah. The same one that you were just praising in your video?
You are a bigger useful idiot now than you were before you made this video. You buried yourself with this video. You made yourself look like a clown in this video. And guess what? Most Sunnis, most Shia, most Muslims on the planet, 99% of us, don't subscribe to the Wahhabi regime. And we see exactly what you're doing. Most Sunnis are not going to like this. Most Shias are not going to like this. Most people, Christian, Jewish, are not going to like this. You are like literally a traitor to your own people. You don't stand with Sunnis. You don't stand with Shia. You don't stand with anything, actually. You stand against the people who fight Israel. So we don't know what you are. You are actually an enemy to all of us. You are a threat to Lebanon, Iran, Yemen, and the whole Muslim Ummah, actually, and it's kind of scary.
You're using as a reference to prove some of your points or back up some of your points, to say that he's one of the top scholars today, and yet he is actually saying that what your position is ignorance. He's saying you're a jahil, that whatever your position is, which is uniting with the Shia, and you're so desperate to unite with.
You don't want to unite with the Shia, but Saudi Arabia will spend $1 trillion on weaponry, tanks, and airplanes, Air Force One airplanes from the United States. $700 billion in weapons is what the Crown Prince bought from Donald Trump. $700 billion in weapons. That's triple the amount of military force that Israel has gotten from the United States over the last 80 years since they've been Israel. Israel has got $250 billion from the United States. Saudi Arabia bought $700 billion worth of weaponry. For what? To fight who? What are they doing? They're not fighting Israel with it. Who are they going to fight with it? And you're going to be so happy when they go to eradicate the Shia people. You're going to stand with them because you're a sicko. Extremist terrorist, and that's how you think. It's crazy.
With them, and that they are going to be our saving grace, and they're the only last.
If Saudi Arabia and the Wahhabi regime aren't using their weapons on Israel, then who are they going to use them on? Like, what's the point of having them, right? What's the point of having them? They're going to use them on the Shia people, and that's what they have intended to do.
Great white hope standing up against Israel and Zionism. He's saying this is foolish. Don't you know geopolitics? I'm ignorant of it. Don't quote me on it. I'm going to Sheikh Uthman al-Khamis, your source, your reference, one of who you said was one of the top scholars live today.
He's giving reference to Sheikh Uthman al-Khamis, whatever his guy's name is. He's giving him as a reference on what he's talking about now. Not what he was talking about during the Syrian war 12 years ago, dude. Like, we're not talking about 2010. We're talking about 2024 here. So thank you for the video of this guy, this sheikh's opinion on the Shia from 12 years ago, but that doesn't tell us what he's saying now. You do realize that, right? So like him talking about the Shia and the Syrian war, he has a different viewpoint than he does now, or at least he should. right? Because it's different. The laterals of the Middle East are completely different now. So you using that clip to back up now's perspective from someone is completely crazy. Imagine me taking a clip from you from like 15 years ago of you saying something, you're not even Muslim, you saying all this stuff, and me going, this is how he feels today, to prove a point on something that you say today.
So is he a useful idiot? Is he just completely ignorant of geopolitics? You said he wasn't.
Yeah, 12 years ago, he was a useful idiot and he was saying the wrong things. Yes, I 100% believe that. And I think you are the biggest useful idiot here.
Bought and paid for, so you can't go on to use that excuse now. Oh, but now the tides have turned, my friend. You don't like when your references now are being used against you, right? So what I want Daniel to do now is I want him to come out, I want him to condemn Brother Muhammad Hijab, I want him to condemn Sheikh Uthman al-Khamis as useful idiots of...
I condemn all three of you that you just named, you, yourself, Muhammad Hijab, and Khamis, as useful idiots. You guys are useful idiots. You work for the Saudi regime, the Wahhabi extremist regime. If you believe it or not, if you're getting paid by them or not, you're brainwashed to go ahead and believe that. This new westernized version of Islam, this idea, this extremist version of Islam that came 200 years ago from Abdul Wahhab, you guys have fallen under this extremist view where you're against everyone and everything, but you sit back and do nothing about it as you build gold toilets and make Mecca, the house of God, look like a multi-billion-dollar Las Vegas, as you guys go ahead and put your money into this and hold music concerts in Saudi Arabia and do all this stuff and have a good time for the Saudi regime and make billions of dollars off of people coming to do their pilgrimage, and watch your brothers and sisters get blown up and say nothing and do nothing, and then attack the Shia Muslims that are actually helping and doing something. I think that you have a very, very good stance, good religion, and I think that it'll go a long way. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees the bravery and the ideology that you and your Wahhabi brothers and sisters have, and he goes ahead and places you in the highest place in paradise. Because you know what? The Shia Muslims who are dying and following the Ahl al-Bayt and protecting the Muslim Ummah, these are kafir. These guys are the worst. They're worse than Christians. They're worse than Jews. These are the worst human beings. Burn them in hell. They don't deserve anything. As I sit down, become fatter, and watch and go, Allah, please protect the Palestinian brothers and sisters, as me, as a hypocrite, sit back and do absolutely nothing. So congratulations, Jake. You have exposed yourself today, and it's very, 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 very clear that you probably shouldn't have made a video, bro, because not only did you prove Daniel right here in this situation, and like I said, I don't have any bias on Daniel. I don't care about these people. You know what I mean? But you not only proved Daniel right, you made yourself look like a bigger puppet and idiot. So
doing the work for Israel, Zionist puppets, whatever all of these other terminologies you would like to use, we would like him to have the guts to come out and actually say that. That's what we would like to do. But I want to show one last reference, one last example that Daniel will probably be familiar with. This is Brother Abu Taymiyyah. What does he say? Believing that the 12 are rejectionists after butchering, massacring the Syrians and a decade of violence against Sunnis will act in the best interest of Sunnis reflects a flawed understanding of realities on the ground and a lack of lessons learned from history. Below are the statements of Ibn Taymiyyah, who passed...
very worried about Syria. They're not worried about ISIS. They don't care about the Sunni extremists that are Wahhabists, that were paid by the West and Saudi Arabia to completely destroy Syria and destroy the neighboring countries. They don't care about ISIS. These individuals like Abu Taymiyyah here, right, and Jake, these individuals praise these terror groups. They love ISIS. As much as they go, oh, ISIS is the worst in the world, they hate their enemies. So, like, I'm so confused. You hate Israel, but you hate the Shia. You hate ISIS, but you hate the Shia. Who do you like? What do you guys do? What is the point of you guys? Why do you guys have trillions of dollars and own all the oil in the world? What do you guys do? Absolutely nothing. You sit back, watch, and just cuss people out and judge people. You sound like Yahudis.
Passed away in the year 728 after Hijab. So he's actually saying the opposite of what you're saying. Come out, be honest, stick your ground. You want to talk about beating your chest? Let's see what you can do. Anyway, with that being said, guys, I hope that you found this video educational. I know that some people may not, but
it's not educational.
So I'm not going to give this.
And before I go ahead and get out of here, I'm just going to go ahead and let him say this. This is my favorite part of the whole entire video.
False sense of hope and cheer something on when they weren't successful in really doing anything of substance. Now, Daniel obviously disagrees with that. But don't accuse me of being a Zionist puppet or a useful idiot or I just hate Iran and the Shia. No, that's not the case. Although I do hate Iran and the Shia. It has nothing.
He goes, don't accuse me of hating Iran and the Shia and being a puppet and being this. Even though I am a puppet and I do hate Iran and the Shia, don't accuse me of it. That's my favorite part of the whole video. He burned himself within the first 15 seconds before his intro even played. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is a very, very long video. I went ahead and extended this quite some time. I was going to make it around like 20 minutes, try and cut through parts of the video. But you know what? Why not sit and examine the whole entire thing? Why not talk about everything that he has to say and get things off my chest? If he wants to do it, why not do it from the Shia perspective? So I went ahead, I gave my stance, I gave my opinions. Now, when it comes to fitna and causing arguments within the community, they're going to happen because you believe something different than someone else. So someone who's looking to go ahead and argue with someone is going to go ahead and argue with someone. It is what it is. It's not that I'm causing fitna. These guys are already arguing. These guys want to go ahead and give false narratives and talk bad about each other online and want to talk bad about the Shia and want to make up things and want to have extremist viewpoints. I'm going to go ahead and respond to that. I have the right all the way to go ahead and respond to these things. Shia people should have a voice. Now, like I said before in the video, and the most important thing I'm going to end this on, your voice doesn't matter. It's what your actions are and what you do as a person. So I promise you, when I die, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to question me. He's not going to say, why'd you worship imams? Because I never worship imams. He's not going to say, why'd you hit myself? Because I never hit myself. He's not going to say, why did you innovate Islam? Because I didn't innovate Islam. He's not going to ask me any of these things that you go ahead and put on me and accuse me of and judge me for. My creator isn't going to judge me for those things because I didn't do them. So it's very funny your ignorance and your level of ignorance, but God Almighty will question you on all those things that you placed upon me and you placed upon the Shia people. All of that hate and all of that injustice that you put towards them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question you about it, but he's not going to question me about it because I don't believe any of it and I don't commit to any of it. You place it on us, you put it on us, and you are going to be questioned for it. So just remember that. There is a chance for everyone on this planet, no matter if you're born Shia, Sunni, Christian, Jewish, I don't care what you are. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala births us in different religions, different creeds, different everything. And this is a test to find a relationship with God Almighty and God Almighty alone. This is our test. This is what we are put through. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't birth you as a Wahhabi, Muslim, and you're magically right. Or because Wahhabi regime has $1 trillion and owns all the oil and controls Mecca, they're somehow right. That's not how it works, brother, man. That's not how it works, unfortunately. Actions speak louder than words, and unfortunately, the Shia are the ones acting. The Shia are the ones protecting this ummah. The Shia are the ones preserving the religion of Islam. The Shia are the ones who are wearing the religion on their chest and doing something about it through action. As you and your Wahhabi regime sit back, talk about how bad the Jews are, talk about how bad the Shia are, sit there, eat, get fatter, richer, and do nothing absolutely about it. So the world's going to see it. The world's going to wake up. And as Sunnis, as Shias, as Christians, we all see it. It is what it is. You are a Wahhabi. You are not Shia Muslim. And I really do feel bad for the Shia Muslims who are just trying to follow the sunnah of the Prophet and pray and fast and live their life and do things good and live a righteous life. I feel bad for them that they have to go ahead and always separate themselves from this extremist Wahhabi regime that controls the whole entire religion of Islam from the top down, that they have to go ahead and always defend themselves from it and make sure people know they're not Wahhabi, they're not from Saudi, they don't believe like these people, that they're good Muslims, and they're not like ISIS, and they're not like the Taliban. As people like you, Jake, and people like the Sheikh go ahead and defend people like ISIS, go ahead and defend these regimes, go ahead and attack the people who are defending the Muslim world as we know it, and do indeed side with the Zionists because the Saudi regime is Zionist. So thank you guys so much for coming today. God bless every single one of you, and until next video, enjoy. This is a very, very long one, and hopefully, I don't know if you guys want to watch it all the way through or whatever the case may happen, but we're out. Thank you guys so much for going in today, and free Palestine, free Lebanon, baby. Bye-bye.